The Kenrick Golf Belt solves the problem of how to easily find your divot repair tool and ball marker. Our beautiful, genuine leather belts are made in the USA. No more ripped pockets or searching your bag for your divot repair tool or ball marker. The Kenrick Golf Belt can't improve your swing, but it can improve your style. Raise your game today.
Hey everybody, welcome
The
to
Kenrick Golf Belt solves the problem of how to easily find your divot.
All right, that was weird. Anyways, hey everybody, welcome to Golf News RI, the golf dudes on Golf News, as we are working to brand that out on our social media pages and everything else. I'm co-founder Joe Calabro. Joining me today is co-founder Rich Capali. Rich had a rough day on the golf course, but we're gonna spare the details of that because I know he's gonna have nightmares about it for the next week. Rich, how are you doing today? It's great to see you for the first time since 2 hours ago.
My backside's a little sore from that whooping you handed me. Had a rough day, but I wasn't working, so it's bad. We got a little coverage of the first round of the RBC today at Harbortown, but it wasn't a bad day today. I'll let Joe take over for the Rhode Island news, and then I'll get into a little bit of the PGA Tour at the end of the show.
Yes, sir. As somebody just famously said. Anyway, a big week this week. Big week this week. I apologize to that guy. I can't remember who the hell said that putt. Who the hell said that that line during Jack Nicklaus's famous putt in the Masters in '86. Anyways, that's another story. Lots of news this week. We had a big week this week for us. RIM should qualifying. The first two qualifying events were Monday and Wednesday, respectively. We're going to get into details of both of those. The third one is on Monday at Fenner Hill. And there's approximately, because now we're down to the nitty gritty, which is exciting. There's approximately 20 spots left to qualify for the RI Amateur. So it's really going to be like a playoff event on Monday at Fenner Hill. These events have been close. The scores have been high, as Rich, me and you have gone over on the leaderboards, and it's been quite something. So that takes place coming up, and we'll recap the first two events. Also, we had a big NEPGA event at Kirkbride on Monday, which we're going to get into. And like you said, we're going to get into the PGA Tour stuff a little bit later on. Like I said last week's show was mostly a PGA Tour show, and I felt like that was the right way to go, given the enormity of the tour returning and live sports returning and everything that goes along with it. So I felt like last week was kind of a PGA Tour week, and Rich, I know I appreciate you taking kind of the lead on some of the content regarding that event and the tour. So that was really good. So great job on that. This week is very much a local golf week, which was exciting for us. Excited to watch some live golf. Excited to cover a live golf event. RI Amateur, most recent amateur qualifying event was on Wednesday, and Joe Downing from Swansea took home the medal, as they say, in that event, and he edged out a handful of guys, as you can read on our website, and so he's in. It was a close event at Green Valley. I personally don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a whole lot about Green Valley Country Club. I've never played there. It's one of the few courses in the state I've never really played, but I guess the course was playing tough, and so was Cranston Country Club for that matter. So Joe Downing took home that event. The first event, as I said, or as we reported, was on Monday, and that was won by, I can't even remember already. A player from Valley Country Club. I literally can't remember writing, but he won the first event over at Cranston Country Club, and even those scores were high. The greens are playing tough. Greens are playing relatively slow, is what I was told. But like Rich said, like Rich, you said to me in a text, that kind of happens at public courses. So, so it was an exciting week, and obviously we tried to, and obviously the exciting part of the qualifying events was my friend Brad O'Clair getting a hole-in-one in the second qualifying event over at Green Valley. And there's hole-in-ones, and then there's like hole-in-ones. And that was certainly one of those hole-in-ones that, he needed it, and he got it. We tried to get Brad on the show tonight, and he responded respectfully. And it's actually his parents' anniversary tonight, and he had dinner reservations. So kudos to him, and congrats to his parents. I was his father. John O'Clair is a big-time state player. He's a 12-time club champion at Kirkbride Country Club. And I'm literally trying to find this guy's name that won the first event, because I feel like a complete moron because I can't read my writing because I suck at writing. That's why I type. And so a big week for Rhode Island Golf. And you have one more big event to go. Joe Tucker. All right, we're back. Joe Tucker won the first event at Kingston Country Club on Monday. Completely my bad. I literally could not. I literally wrote it down, and I could not read my writing. Again, this is why I type. And so there's probably about 50 players that have already qualified for the event. A handful of them we're going to have on over the next few weeks leading up to our amateur tournament taking place. And we'll have coverage of that. We'll probably do some more live coverage of that, as I'm going to be there. And I'm sure Rich will be with me at least a couple of the days, if not all the days. We'll kind of see how it goes. But Rich, a big week in RI golf, and it's pretty exciting. RI Amateur is quite the tournament, and it has been quite the tournament over the last few years. So I know there's, like I mentioned off the top, there's about 20 spots left, and we're getting right down to the nitty gritty. This last event is basically a playoff, right? There's about 50, 60 guys competing for 20 spots. It's going to be quite something over at Fenner Hill.
Yeah, no. It's just crazy. I was talking to you about this earlier when we were over at Kirkbride, and it's amazing to see guys that actually can hit the ball and play the game well. It's a different feeling, a different sound. I mean, when the ball's struck and the way they can shape the shots and stuff like that. I got a couple single digits at my course, and you have a bunch, a lot of guys that can actually play at Kirkbride that I've met over the last 5-6 years. And when you watch them play, it's a different sound, it's a different feel, it's a different look, and it's just a totally different way than us weekend hackers play. It's really impressive.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just sharing the stuff to our Facebook pages, so I'm not ignoring you, or don't mind me. We have to come up with a better system for this. That's in the works. So yeah, it's quite something. And like you mentioned, these guys play a different game than us, but it's fun to watch, and they're playing for something real. And like I said, the last event is at Fenner Hill. Last qualifying event, excuse me, is at Fenner Hill. The RA Amateurs, the first round, I believe, starts July 13th, and they do 2 medal play rounds. And then if you get through that, the top however many players qualify for match play. Then the rest of the week is match play, and I think on most days, if not every day, they're playing 2 matches a day. It's like 36 holes a day, so it's really like a grind. And we're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I mean, it's similar to. I compare it in some ways, and this is not a direct comparison. Obviously, it's different things. But the Ryder Cup, where they're playing 2 sessions a day, 2 matches a day, and for all the marbles, and so that's kind of what I compare the RI Amateur to, and again, I'm not comparing two events. Obviously, the Ryder Cup is pro golf, and RI Amateur is amateur golf. But it's similar to that, where they're playing 2 matches a day for most of the days. And I even think the final match, which I think is on that Saturday afternoon, that Saturday morning and afternoon, I even think that's a 36-hole event. And so I'm hoping and planning to have live coverage there all day between me and you, and we'll see what else, we'll see where we are when we get there, obviously. But that's kind of the plan for that. So that'll be quite exciting. And so the amateurs this week, like I said, Joe Downing and Joe Tucker. Again, I apologize on his name. That was quite embarrassing. I literally could not read my own handwriting. They medaled in the events, and there are approximately 20 spots left, give or take a few, for the final RI amateur qualifying event on Monday at Fender Hill, and we will have complete coverage of that, as we have for all these events. They have on the Regal website today. They had the roster of who was playing, but they didn't have the tee times, and so and I'll check again later tonight. But they didn't have the tee time, so I didn't want to post it on our website. I just didn't want to waste people's time. So just the roster of people playing is great, but I mean, people look for the tee times, and people want to know who's playing when and when they can go see them or whatever. So we will post the tee times as soon as they become available, and that will be on our site. I'm imagining they'll probably be tomorrow or Saturday at the latest, absolute latest. And so you check the tee times there. There's a couple big name players playing as far as the amateur ranking. So all right, amateur, very exciting. Stay tuned for coverage. And like I said, Rich and I have been working and planning coverage for the actual RI amateur tournament coming up in a couple of weeks. We're planning some big coverage for that, and you don't want to miss out on that. More details will be released when they become available as far as our coverage goes. But we're looking to go big on that event. It's a big deal. RI amateur is no joke. I know a couple guys that have won the RI amateur before, and it's a big deal. It's not a small thing. Even though Rhode Island is the smallest state, the RI amateur is no small thing. So that's coming up. Earlier this week on Monday, the New England PGA had a tournament at Kirkbride, which I covered live. I did a bunch of Facebook Lives, 2 Facebook Lives on the event, one early in the morning prior to tee off, and one kind of like an afternoon wrap, if you will. And then the last 2 days, I'm trying to think. No, yesterday we put up a video. So Wednesday we put up a video of the event, kind of highlights of the event, highlighting some of the RI pros that are playing. Our guys, Peter Walsh and Mike Bradshaw, both played in the event. Peter had a high finish. Mike Bradshaw did well. And I put together a video of that. And so I know there's some cool things in it. And one thing to keep in mind, and I know Joel, our great producer here, is going to play it. And he has the video. I sent it to him. And one thing to listen to, which I thought was quite fascinating, and it was a pain in the butt to edit, I'm not going to lie. But listen to the sound the club makes when it hits the ball. You might actually have to remove your headphones if you're listening on headphones or whatever, but it is quite something. And so we just kind of go to that highlight video now, and then we'll come back, kind of wrap up that event, and then kind of move on to a couple other things. Here we go. We are live here at Kirkbride Country Club for the NEPGA tournament. I'm Joe Calabro.
First to play from Newport Country Club, Dan Shepard. Next to play from Meadowbrook, Steve Sheridan. And next to play from Kings Crossing, Peter Walsh. Next to play from Trinity Memorial, Bob Tremonti.
Back live here at Kirkbride Country Club, Golf News RI. I'm Joe Calabro. I actually switched locations. You probably noticed I'm now on the deck, high above the 10th tee. Peter Walsh, he told me after 9 that he shot a 40. and he had a birdie on 8, which is no easy birdie. Mike Bradshaw, we had a video of him that was posted to our Facebook page, where you can catch all of our videos on Facebook. And then he had a nice 2-putt par on 9. He told me after walking off the green that he was being a little cautious on that one, because if you run it by, it goes off the green. So he had a nice 2-putt.
Ooh, 35, 34. Wow.
Rich, those were like our scores at Kirkby, right? That was like our scores.
Yeah, I just want to say something. That guy from Triggs was a straight gangster with the cigar in his mouth as he's teeing off. I love the enthusiasm. That was fantastic.
I was thinking the same thing when I was there watching it. I was like, how cool is this guy? Like, cigar in his mouth. I think he I don't remember the leaderboard offhand. If you want to pull it up real quick, you could. It's on the NPGA website. But I think he finished within the top 10. Like he was right there.
He
was
straight gangster.
He was competitive in the tournament. So yeah, that was quite something. And again, that was our first coverage of a live event, and I had experience with it. I had my previous job covering PC basketball, covering the Patriots, covering other events, and there's nothing more fun or more exciting than covering a live sporting event. And I'm hoping to be able to bring that to, in some ways, obviously it's a little bit different with golf, or the Nova golf, but I'm hoping to be able to bring that to Golf News RI and expand our.
So that says Robert Triamonte, Triggs
Yeah.
Memorial. He shot an even par 71 and a tie for second. Woo!
Right. So the key was the cigar. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there you go. Wow. But yeah, so he played. He had a great day. Peter Walsh had a great day. Peter Walsh told me he had a birdie on 8, which, as you know, Rich, is no easy birdie. That's a long hole. So it was a great day. Oh, yeah. And as I've been saying,
par 4.
Right, yeah. I'll take my 7 and go home. Thank you very much. But that was our first kind of live coverage of an event, a golf tournament, and obviously the goal is to do more of that, more tournaments like that, whether they're club tournaments or whether they're state tournaments. And like I mentioned, we're gonna try to make a big deal out of the Rhode Island Amateur, because it is a big deal. It's like I mentioned, it's not a joke. It's real. It's the real thing. It's real golf, and these guys really can play, and it's matches. So it's pretty intense. It gets pretty intense. So we're gonna try to do more of that. But that was a great start for us, and it was fun. It was fun to be there. It was a beautiful day over at Kirkby, and we did two. I did 2 Facebook lives, and they look pretty good, in my opinion. So we have that. The other quick note I want to make. I only have about 15 minutes left. The other quick note I wanted to make, and we put it on our website, and it did a good number of page views, and it was a big deal. Agawam Hunt, they've completed renovations of their clubhouse, and their clubhouse is now back open. And so, if you know the story of Agawam Hunt was back in years ago, and people can verify this. Back years ago, Agawam Hunt pretty much was the place to be. I know Rich, and you talked about this earlier today, kind of in our pre-show email / pre-show golf round. Agawam Hunt was the place to be. And then a few years ago, I think it was 2017. I could be wrong on the year, but I believe it was 2017. They really hit rock bottom, like a lot of clubs do. And I'm not, this happens. A lot of clubs do this. A lot of clubs go through this. The Agawam Hunt really hit rock bottom. They lost a lot of their membership. They nearly lost everything. They're almost done. And now they look like they're trying to rebuild. They had, as we reported like a month ago ish. Again, like I said every week, the days pretty much just flow into one, and every day is pretty much the same day. But like a month ago ish, they had that trial membership that they were offering, that we reported on, Rich, on our website, and it's nice to see them kind of making a comeback, to the extent that they can make a comeback and kind of become relevant again after literally falling apart over just a couple years ago. It's been quite a turnaround for them. So good for them, and we're happy to report on those kind of good stories.
Yeah, I've always been intrigued by that course. I played in a lot of at a lot of courses around the state, and South Mass, Connecticut, stuff like that. But that's one of the places I've always wanted to play. I know they're putting some of their earlier tee times on Golf Now. I mentioned to you, Joe, that maybe we should knock off work early one day and maybe grab a round there. I've always been intrigued because of the history of that place. Like you said, Joe, that place was one of the places to be. Very old school, very I mean, it just a very old school place. I'm glad to see. I'm not sure if some of their members own part of the course now. I'm not sure if it's private equity now. I'll have to look that up for the next show. But yeah, they dug themselves out of a hole. Looks like they're like we said, we reported a couple weeks ago, they're doing a special. Their clubhouse is open, which is great because of all the outdoor dining now, indoor dining, all that stuff. So yeah, hopefully they bounce back with big gains.
Now, you know what was interesting, Rich? Because I was thinking when I was putting up the article, whatever day this was, again, all the days blend into one for me. I was thinking of, like, Agawam Hunt is rebounding, right? They're coming back. They're trying to make a comeback again to the extent that they can, and really making an effort to come back. And yet you look at a club, and it's it's sad, really. It's not, I'm not trying to like celebrate it, but you look at Metacomet, and this is their last summer. They have 2 months, 2.5 months, whatever you want to call it, left this summer, and
yeah, probably like 2.5, 3 months, yeah.
Right. So Agawam Hunt has really worked their butts off to rebuild and come back and try to be relevant again. I mean, like you mentioned and I mentioned before, Agawam, for those that, like I said, for those that don't know, years and years ago, Agawam was at the top. I mean, they were, maybe they were.
That was the pristine place to play.
They weren't maybe quite Wannamoisett level. Wannamoisett back in Wannamoisett's heyday was a top 50 course in the country, and an exclusive place. So I don't know if they were quite there, but they were right there for years and years and years. And then it kind of all fell apart on them, and now they're trying to rebuild. Like I said, they almost lost everything. They were almost done, and now they're rebuilding, and it's great to see. But now you look at it, at Metacomet, and they were at the top for a while as well. They had a lot of big tournaments, amateur tournaments, New England tournaments, et cetera, and now here we are. We're literally like 2.5, 3 months if you want to give them September. I don't know if you want to, Rich, if you want to give them September, but whatever it is, they're 2-3 months. Maybe you squeak out a 4th month in October, depending on the weather here. As we know, the weather is kind of crazy. They're 3 months from being gone, and it's just an interesting comparison. And as we've talked about, and we talked about with Pat Ford numerous times, the difference really is the other amenities. And I just think it's a fascinating comparison between the two clubs. One that was on the top and lost everything and then bounced back, right? Everyone loves an underdog story. And another club that was on the top and they can't come back. And I just think it's a fascinating comparison. And I'm not celebrating any of it. I'm not celebrating Metacomet closing or anything like that. Obviously, it's very sad. Anytime a golf course closes, especially in a state like Rhode Island, or I mean, really anywhere, but especially in Rhode Island. But I just think it's a fascinating comparison, and maybe it's not apples to apples, but I just think it's a fascinating story there between the two clubs.
Yeah, no. We're doing a Father's Day round there at Metacomet on Thursday. Me and the Sunday boys. Yep. I'll have a course review ready for you guys Thursday night. Definitely. It's sad. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I've played a ton of courses around the area, New England, Rhode Island, South Mass, whatever. I played Metacomet for the first time last summer, and that was one of the hardest courses I've ever played. Now, I'm a hacker. I'm a 17, 18, but that was one of the hardest courses I've ever played. Everything's uphill. If you manage to get it on the green in regulation, you got sliders, glass greens, firm, fast. It's. But yeah, like I said, get them in while you can, man. I'm pretty sure weekday rates I think are like 60, 65, and I think it's like 75 on the weekends. But yeah, get it in because you're gonna miss out on a Rhode Island treasure that's gonna be gone in the next, like you said, 2 to 4 months. But yeah, I'll have a course review ready for you guys when we get back Thursday night when we go live again next week.
Now you've talked about this. You mentioned it on the air. It really what it comes down to is the other amenities, right? It's the pool. It's the the family events. It's the tennis courts. It's the whatever else there is, and you really believe that's the make or break, and that's what's breaking Metacomet at this day and age. Back in the day, it was fine to just have a golf course. You could get away with it. Now, as you see at Kirkbride and other places, Alpine does a great job, and Wanamoyce is better at it. Is that you really believe that's what it is? It's the other stuff.
Yeah, the ways of the country club are kind of going to the wayside. Like I said in previous episodes a couple weeks ago, 9-hole courses are the fad right now. If a club doesn't have the proper amenities, i.e., a pool, number one, for the family part of it, because that brings the wife, the kids together. A great restaurant, number two. A gym, nice locker rooms, showers, great places like Kirkbride has. The days of the country club just being golf and maybe one amenity are gone. They unfortunately Metacomet doesn't have those. Like I said, great. That's like it's a championship golf course. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they had the amenities to keep going forward. Yeah, it's a lot of time is being spent with families now, especially with the quarantine and stuff like that. People are realizing that they want to spend a lot more time with their families, and places like Kirkbride, Alpine, Wanamoyce, Warwick Country Club, Quinnesset, all those guys, they all have the amenities to keep the family together. Like I said, tennis courts, the pool. The pool's a great spot for families to hang out. The kids can go swimming. Mom and dad can have a couple cocktails. They can converse with their adult friends. The kids can hang out with their friends, stuff like that. When you don't have those things, unfortunately the membership deteriorates. And I'm not a professional, but I think that might be where their downfall was.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that's hurting them. Was it the number one purpose? Maybe not. But I certainly think that was a factor. Weddings, they have weddings and stuff.
It was a big factor, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I don't think that's even out of bounds to say. I think that was a huge factor that's hurting them, and obviously everyone is not a fan of Brad Faxon anymore. And I certainly question it, and I was one part of the news organization that kind of helped break that whole Metacomet story open, and it was quite something. And the message that we got and the comments that we got on our respective Facebook page about people hating on Faxon and all that stuff, it was quite something. And I from a content perspective, right, I'm like a content whore, right? So I just want more content. Whatever gives me content, right? But I am right as a news
I
reporter,
know,
as a
but
news writer,
you
as
also
a
can't hate on all those guys.
yeah.
You also can't hate on all those guys. I don't like to talk junk about places, but you kind of can't hate on Faxon for pulling the plug on a sinking ship. I mean, how much money was it really going to cost to upgrade everything? You know what I mean? Like country club standards nowadays. You know what I mean? That was going to cost a lot of money. So, and I get that the membership hates him for it, but I also sort of on the other side don't blame him for pulling the plug on a sinking ship. You know what I mean?
Very interesting take there. That was a scorching hot take from Rich Campani. You can find you can find him at King's Crossing on Sunday mornings if you have any beef with his take.
Oh yes, I mean, that like I said, I'm not a professional, but that's sort of where my mindset is. Like you don't like. I get it. The whole membership hates him for it because they've probably been members there for, I mean, what 10, 20, probably grandfathered in from their parents and their grandparents. But you kind of on the other side, you kind of don't blame Brad and that group for pulling the plug on a ship that's going down. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean that's what it is.
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right. I think at least from the reactions that I've got, and this is not a recent reaction. This is for when it originally happened and when I was part of the news organization that was helping breaking some of this stuff. I think, and again, this is my personal opinion. I think people were mad that they only put a year into it. I think that's where people were kind of turned off by. You know what I mean? Not that I don't think people were mad that he couldn't fix the
That's
problems
fair. That's fair. That's
because there
absolutely
were
fair.
because like you mentioned, there were issues and they were kind of behind, behind the times, quote unquote, as far as country club style. Um, but I think people were mad that or disappointed that they only put a year into it, right? Like you owned it for a year and then all of a sudden, you're out. And I think that's where people have a gripe with facts, and I think that's what people are disappointed about. And on that part of it, I can understand. I can understand that people are mad that he only put a year into it, right? And that's kind of what that's my take on it. And I think that's what, from talking to a bunch of people, that's where I think people are disappointed. Not necessarily that he couldn't fix it, but that he only put a year into it. And Rich, you can, if you want to have one more point, I made a comment. You can go for it to follow up, but then I want you to lead off coverage on the PGA. We'll do a quick 5 minutes or so
We'll do
on the
something
PGA
quick.
tour today. Right. So if you want to give one quick thought, I made a comment just to wrap it up. If not, just go right into the PGA tour and just give me a quick couple of takes on what you saw today and kind of leaderboard. I know Poulter's leading, and just kind of go from there. And like I said, wherever you want to take it, we can take it. Go for it.
All right, yeah. So like I said, I was not what's it called? I am not hating on Metacama as a golf course. Throwing my 2 cents in for whatever that's worth. But that's how I feel. And like Joe said, he brought up a good point that I didn't think about. That the people I get the membership is probably feeling like he kind of did them dirty by pulling out after the first year. I get that. That's a good point by Joe. And I do believe that absolutely. But fantastic golf course. Get out there, guys. It's member for a day. Like I said, it's I think it's either 60 or 65 on the weekday, and I think it's like 75 on the weekend. Great value. Nice. The course is in fantastic shape. Like I said, I'll give you guys an update on next Thursday when we play. But yeah, fantastic value. Get it while it's hot. Played a couple times this summer, early fall. But anyways, so second week of we're back from the second week of quarantine on the PGA Tour. like Joe said, the American golf killer Pulse, Ian Poulter, leads the standings at 7 under. All these scores are they're all done. Obviously, they all finished around 6:00, 6:30. Other notables, my boy Victor Hovland from Oklahoma State, he fired a 6 under today too. We got Ryan Palmer at 6 under as well. Spieth had a great. He had a from what Joe told me, he had a blow up couple first 3 holes, but he ended up getting 6 birdies in a row and bringing it back. He's 5 under. Also with Tony Finau at 5 under. Matty Fitzpatrick also at 5 under too. So we're getting back into the swing of things. The boys are finding their game, and pretty much that's about it on my end. Also, Brooks Koepka and Ricky Fowler are at 4 under. So yeah, another second week off of quarantine. Everything looks to be good. As Joe posted yesterday, no positive corona tests on the PGA Tour for the second week in a row. So it looks like whatever their the whole the health and safety packet they put together, it's working. So hopefully we'll be good to go for the foreseeable future.
Absolutely excited day on the PGA Tour. Two quick notes to add, and then we're wrapping up. One cool thing, we talk about streaks. Spieth had a six holes in a row, 6 birdies in a row to get him back to contention after triple bogeying. I believe it was the 12th hole. Another cool thing, and I know the Korn Ferry Tour, unfortunately, given the limited coverage and limited capability, is not on TV. But Dawson Armstrong, how about this? He was 10 under through 10 holes. I'll tell you, on the Korn Ferry Tour, he's 1 shot back.
Wow.
He's one shot back in their tournament. If you follow the Korn Ferry Tour, I enjoy watching the Korn Ferry Tour. These guys are literally playing for their lives. And in a lot of cases, Dawson Armstrong today was 10 under through 10 holes, and he's 1 shot back through their tournament so far. So something to keep an eye on if you're interested in the Korn Ferry Tour. Again, these guys are literally playing for their lives, both PGA Tour lives and just their lives in general. In a lot of cases, not all of them, but a lot of them.
Joe, let me interject real quick. I forgot to say this while I was doing my little recap. So for all the LPGA fans, the LPGA is coming back. We got an event July 23rd through the 26th at Highland Meadows Golf Club in Ohio. That will be. It was supposed to take place July 23rd through the 26th. It's going to be August 6th through the 9th. So that's I'm pretty sure they're shooting for end of July, early August return for the LPGA. I like watching the LPGA. Those ladies can smash the ball. But look for when that comes closer, I'll put up a story and we'll talk about it more on the LPGA is coming back in the near future, just so you guys know.
That's a good note. I saw that earlier this week, and I think it was one of our. This was a crazy week early on of Rhode Island golf. So, unfortunately, I should have put that up. That's my fault. But it was just a crazy week of content for local golf. So again, my fault on that, and good flag by Rich. I'll be rooting for my girl Morgan Pressel, who always retweets all of our stuff, or most of our stuff, and she always plays the CBS Classic. So I always have a relationship with her, going back to covering the CBS Classic. Anyways, one last note. We gotta wrap up here. I know we're up to a late start, but we wrap up. Father's Day on Sunday, and for me personally, on a personal note, I just want to thank my dad for getting me into the game of golf, keeping me involved in the game of golf, taking me for those lessons at the driving range that I hated when I was a kid. Because when you're a kid, you want to play hockey and basketball and baseball, and you want to be a pro at everything. Then you quickly realize that you suck at all these sports, and the only sport you have left is golf, because it's the only sport you can play, and even if you suck at it, you can still have fun. So Father's Day coming up, without and try not to get too emotional. But I just want to say thanks to my dad for getting me into the game of golf and keeping me in the game of golf and teaching me valuable lessons through the game. So that's all. That's all.
Yeah,
I got on that.
Shout out to my dad.
Thank you.
Shout out to my dad, Pops. I ain't gonna get emotional about this. Yeah, good times on the golf course. Too bad you can't outdrive me anymore if I actually hit it in the fairway. But yeah, you whoop my ass every weekend. So you whoop my ass every weekend. So it's a good it's tit for tat. So yeah, we'll see you guys. We'll see you on Sunday, Dad, and Thursday. But yeah, anybody who's playing, any fathers out there playing this weekend, happy Father's Day, and hit them straight, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Rich, for coming on. Thanks for a great golf round today. Kicked your butt. Thanks for the new driver, by the way. And that's all we got. Stay tuned.
You gotta thank Pops for that. That was a gift from Dad, by the way.
Exactly. So thank your dad. Anyway, that's all we got this week. It was a busy week. Stay tuned for coverage over the weekend. I know Rich has some PGA Tour stuff he wants to do, PGA Tour coverage and other things. A big round on Monday, which I'm excited about at Fenner Hill, the final qualifying event for the RA Amateur. Stay tuned for that. The 20 spots available, 20 spots left, and it's a playoff now basically. And so that's all we got. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. We love you all, and stay tuned for Golf News RI this weekend, and we'll give you updates on further coverage of events as we go. Thanks everyone. Love you all. Have a great
Father's
Thursday
Day,
night.
guys.